Yeah, what's up, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of The Hot Mic. I am John Roker, writer, producer, and host here on the mic, joined as always by the Sneider himself, Jeff Sneider. How are you, Jeff?
Yeehaw! Hello, Johnny boy!
What's with the hat? Are you taking a shot at the old outlaw there? What's going down?
Like that? You like that?
That's very cute. It's very
I got
cute.
you one too, bro. I got you one too.
Oh! If we ever do a live show in LA, we can wear those hats. I love that idea. Come on now.
Got it. And that's all we're going to be wearing.
That's just for the patrons. Oh, how are you, man? How are things? How's the world going? I mean, we haven't seen each other in a week, so where are you at right now? How are things going on in your world?
I'm good, man. It's been a busy week. I can't keep up with all the goddamn news out of the trades. There's been a lot.
Yeah.
And it was a tough week, obviously, with my boy going down.
Oh, yeah, Jason Tatum. Yeah, that's right. Achilles. That was a rough watch, brother, man.
My own life flashed before my eyes, John. It was like this season, next season, who knows if he comes back as the same player. I was sad.
This is why you don't do a whole documentary before the season ends. You do the documentary after the season ends because you put a little karma up in there and mess with things. But, yeah, it was sad to see, but they responded well last night. The Celtics got the victory. We'll see what happens in New York. You never know. Maybe Jalen can lead them, but he doesn't really radiate that energy, but who knows? I mean, if Derek White keeps hitting threes, I think you guys are fine.
We got enough talent for sure to beat the Knicks, but
is that a documentary now? Sure, the Blue Jean Committee.
It sure is. Never actually seen the episode. Just always loved it.
That episode is great, especially if you're into yacht rock. That episode is fucking fantastic. Anyway, so we're here to talk about things going on in the world of entertainment. We're going to talk about that Superman trailer. We're going to get in some big news that dropped today about Gears of War here. David Leitch, news about a RAMBO prequel. We're going to jump into our Mission Impossible 8 review, so get ready for us to fight over that movie. There's so much going on, trailers and all this stuff, casting news and what have you, and who knows what's going to break while we're on air, Jeff, or if something someone asks sparks a bit of a tidbit or a little news item from you. We never know. That's why the Streamlabs. Good.
I've got X-Men rumors that could spit out of my mouth somehow.
Whoa! I see. There we go. That's why Streamlabs and Super Chats are important, ladies and gentlemen. They help to fund the show, but they also get Jeff to reveal certain things that he's waiting for you all to ask. That's really important. So send them in. You see the Streamlabs address right above Jeff's head, and you see it in the chat as well. Go ahead.
Is my dishwasher too loud? Do you need me to turn it off?
I don't hear a thing, my man. I don't hear a thing. Yeah, you should be fine. All right, well, let's not wait. We have 300 people joining us live. We appreciate it madly. Make sure you hit subscribe. Make sure you go and subscribe to Jeff's newsletter at theinsnider.com. But let's get into this thing here, Jeff. Big news dropped yesterday here? We had ourselves the new official trailer for the Superman movie. We got to see David Corenswet, Frank Grillo there, Ultraman with the big U in case you missed it. And then you got shots of him as Clark Kent swaggering through an interview, getting abrasive when Lois Lane is asking him questions. Rachel Brosnahan there, and in a sweet moment with his dad, played by Pruitt Taylor Vince, there as Pa Kent, and some stuff going on with him violating treaties or rescuing people without speaking to the American government. So a lot in this trailer. 3 minutes, Jeff. We got Metamorpho, Lex Luthor. We got to see more of the work of the Justice League International, in essence, is what they're going to play. And we got to see that Hammer Baravia shirt. So your thoughts, or uniform, your thoughts on this trailer. Did it work? Did it stem the tide? Did it quiet the criticism?
I mean, I think it quieted the criticism in the sense that it finally gave us something other than fucking Crypto the dog.
Even though he was in it for like a few seconds, but yes.
I mean, that's fine, but it wasn't centered around him. It wisely led. The crux of this movie is the relationship between Superman and Lois Lane.
Yeah.
And so it wisely led with that. I just finished writing about it for the newsletter tonight,
nice.
Which will arrive about a half hour after the show. Okay. And, it was nice to see and hear a little bit more from Nicholas Hoult and the whole, he's not a man, he's an it.
Yes, sort of dehumanizing him. Yes.
And I think that moment that you pointed out from Pa Kent, Pruitt Taylor Vince, which I think is going to prove to be the best piece of casting in this whole movie. That's the tweet that the line that Gunn used in his tweet. And it was line in the trailer, I think. It boiled it down, the ethos of a Superman movie, to one line. And yeah, I it's going to need that heart, because to me, I just said a lot of nice things about it.
Yeah.
It does look overstuffed.
Yes.
Right? I think it's very much in danger of that, which may very well just be part of the deal when you're trying to launch a universe. And it also, I saw a lot of complaints about this. The color correction seemed almost like an overcorrection. It looked a little garish in spots to me, but maybe that's just the look that he's going for as a comic book movie. It's not like an approximation of real life.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I have to say, I didn't 100% like that opening, because it just seemed a bit odd that he's already in regular clothes. So does she know he's Clark Kent already? So is this later on in the movie? And this idea, I get that she's asking these questions to kind of hammer the point home. And this is what it's like for a reporter in 2025 to be asking these kinds of questions. But I did like what it opened the door to is, what is a Superman like when he is not attached to a country? What is the fear? What is the concern? Which, of course, some of you Superman James Gunn lovers are going to be upset about this, but that was also something that was a part of Man of Steel when they were talking about, well, whose side are you on? I don't know if I can trust you, with Christopher Moltisanti and I forget, Harry Lennox asking those questions. Can we trust Superman or not? So you have an element here of, what is he violating things, not violating things? And then you have a rich billionaire who is upset at this guy getting all of his press, kind of like Jack Nicholson's Joker. And a guy like that gets all of my press. You see that kind of element to it, but also him, as you said, calling him an it, dehumanizing him. He's an alien. So there's a commentary going on here. So it's an illegal alien getting his attention. All of this kind of stuff. And then, yes, the dad stuff was great. My only issue is they're not dynamic actors. I wasn't like, like Costner or Glenn Ford or even Russell Crowe, if you want to go to his Kryptonian father. It doesn't have that quite the same element to it. And I imagine it's because they don't need someone to overshadow David Corenswet. Pruitt Taylor Vince and the actress playing his mom are going to supplement that. But yeah, I mean, overall, I thought the action stuff and the way it was all shot was really interesting and fun. I just don't know if I 100% buy into the stuff from the beginning.
Again, to me, none of this matters. Like which scene they lead with in the trailer, how it even looks. It all comes down to one thing and one thing only, and that's the script.
Mm-hmm.
So if they tell a good story,
yeah,
I'll be happy. And if they don't, and it's too much about creating this universe, or it's too much of a CGI slugfest,
right?
It'll come and go like other comic book tripe.
But talk to him about the opening, though. I mean, because that is the script. Their back and forth is the script, and him getting upset, him chewing gum, him swaggering. I had a friend reach out to me and said he feels like a quarterback of a Midwestern high school football team who got this job, and I'm like, yeah, but not in the best way. Like, he seems kind of cocky and abrasive and upset that anyone would dare to question his actions and stuff. And it's an interesting approach for a Superman who everyone said James Gunn understands Superman. He's a kind, caring, loving Superman. He wants to help everyone, wants to give hope. Here he is getting upset because he's being grilled by Lois Lane. It seemed an odd opening scene for me.
As someone who's been accused of being all those things that you just accused Superman of being, I like it. I like that he
You're not trying to be Superman.
He had a little attitude and a little edge and a little like, dude, I'm trying to help. I'm trying to save lives here. You guys are fucking talking shit about me. Fuck you. Not that he said that, but right. It was that kind of attitude, and that's the attitude that I have.
Yeah, and I also go to it because it's like, well, he went to school, he went to college. The fact that it didn't occur to him that he might be violating treaties or might be violating the sovereignty of nations by going off to save people. I get it. You want to save people, of course. That's a great, noble thing to do, but there's also the reality of the world. So I hope that's a conflict that gets explored and fleshed out in the movie. That would excite me to see that on a political side of things, how the ramifications of that are. But yeah, is there anything more you want to say about it? Were you more convinced that it might actually be a decent film, or did you see where some people might have had issues with it from what you saw?
Oh, I can definitely see what sources were saying months ago. I definitely understand some of the criticisms that I've heard. I mean, again, I don't trust anybody except these two things right here. That's in my face. Those are the windows through which I see the world. And I really don't care. I mean, we're gonna get into it. I'm gonna dehumanize you when we talk about Mission Impossible.
No, well, don't get. I heard you got very upset the other night, so don't do that on the show. We can have a fun back and forth. You don't have to get upset and storm off. We'll just have a fun conversation.
What do you mean?
People reported back to me that Jeff was not happy about certain things in that movie and was upset about it. So
we'll talk about the screening.
Yeah, the screening. Yeah.
That's hilarious. That's not what I was yelling about.
I thought that's what you meant. We were going to get a fight about the Mission Impossible. What are we going to get
into a fight about what I thought about Mission Impossible? But I was screaming after the screening. Yes. Not about Mission Impossible.
Oh, what were you screaming about?
I was screaming about Lionsgate fucking me over on the Hunger Games story.
Oh no.
Yeah, I was like, fucking studios, like, you've got to be, and we're gonna talk about that too.
Yeah.
I was screaming like, fucking studios are unfucking believable. And so it's hilarious that you heard about that and people thought I was like, you think that I come out of a movie screaming about movies? No, I scream when I get fucked over on stories.
Oh, that's good. That's good to know. It wasn't about the movie. That's good to know. Yeah. But I will say this. But I will say this. For all my issues or criticisms or things I bring up here, I still think it looks fantastic. I'm hoping that it's a good movie, and there's some good action sequences, the Metamorpho stuff, his hand turning to kryptonite. Like, what is that all about? How is he controlling these people? And they're in cages. So what's Luther's whole approach to this? And you can't ignore the commentary that's going on with some of these scenes, a billionaire, rich guy not getting the love and respect he deserves. And don't miss out on the fact that he let a voiceover say president, as we saw Luther, because we know Luther becomes president in the comic book. So it may be something he's exploring down the road with the Nicholas Hoult character of Lex Luthor. So we will see. All right. So anything else you want to say on this, man? Anything else you want to come out of it?
I hear it's tracking big.
Oh, really? That's good. That's good.
I hear it's tracking. Let's just say, what would you think it's tracking?
For opening weekend?
Yeah.
If it's tracking big, are we talking 175? Are we talking 200? Really?
I think we're talking 175. I haven't heard 2 yet, which would put it, as so like one of the biggest movies ever made. I don't think it's going to be on that level, but it's all about the legs, right?
Right.
I happen to have just looked this up a few minutes ago for the music. Barbie opened to 162 million.
Wow.
So I think it will be in that ballpark, in that probably 155 to 175, 180, like that range, 150, 180.
Is that global or domestic? Global or domestic?
Domestic.
Right. So then do you think the early reviews are going to jack that number up if they're like overwhelmingly positive?
I mean, for sure. I think if word of mouth is great, that could certainly go a long way towards getting skeptics inside the theater. But I don't really think film critics skew opening weekend, really too much one way or the other.
Oh, okay.
I don't think anyone's like, oh, I was going to go see Superman and now I'm not going to see it because the reviews are bad, or I wasn't going to see Superman, but now everybody's convinced me to. I don't really think it's that kind of a movie. It's, again, like I said, it's all about the legs. It's not going to have. I mean, it'll be lucky to have Sinner's legs, but comic book movies typically make their money in the first few weekends, and you've got Fantastic Four coming 2 weeks later. So we'll see.
Do you think $1 billion is in play now more than before?
I still don't see this movie getting to $1 billion, but if this opening number proves correct, then maybe it could.
Yeah. Real quick, Joshua A says, we're witnessing a young Superman. Let him mature. Yeah, I said the same thing when all these people were crying about the end of Man of Steel and he had that big fight with Zod. It was his first fight. Why wasn't he allowed to mature before some of y'all lost your motherfucking mind? So, all right, let's move on from this topic here, Jeff. Let's get into some other stuff going on in the world of entertainment here. What else have we got on the hot mic that I've got lined up for us to talk about next? I got to get to my document. Oh, yeah. This is the big one here. Let's get to it, man. David Leitch. Let's talk about this situation happening here for Gears of War. Look at this. David Leitch. This is interesting, Jeff. This was broken by Boris Kidd over at THR. The Fall Guy director, as you see there, David Leitch, is in negotiations to helm Gears of War, Netflix's big budget adaptation of one of the biggest video game franchises on the Xbox platform. John Spates, who was working with Denis Villeneuve on adapting Frank Herbert's Dune books for Legendary, is writing the script. Netflix has partnered with Coalition Studio, the Canadian game developer behind the franchise. Netflix, though, had no comment on the deal making. For those who don't know, the game is set on a planet on the brink of societal collapse when a monstrous threat in the form of underground creatures known as the Locust take humanity to the verge of extinction. Delta Squad, a ragtag fire team led by disgraced Sergeant Marcus Phoenix, is now charged with leading humanity's last stand. So what do you think of this as a next project for David Leitch, considering Fall Guy kind of underperformed, but he does have a strong name in the industry? What are your thoughts on this?
I mean, I think he's like a solid action director, but I haven't loved any of his movies yet. So it kind of makes sense that he's now going to do a Netflix action movie. Yeah, I just, he's okay. I think he's attached to like so much stuff. It seems like every week I hear about David Leitch signing on to a new movie. It feels like he's like the new Guillermo del Toro in that regard. I don't know if just like having him on board guarantees some kind of green light. He's obviously putting together his new movie, How to Rob a Bank, with Pete Davidson, Nicolas Hoult, Diana Supply. So yeah, I mean, he's busy. His dance card seems pretty full. I have no idea when we'll get to see this. It means nothing to me, Gears of War. I know it's a big title, but I've never played it. I've never seen somebody play it. The premise sounds a little generic.
Yeah, it seems to be happening, though, that we're going towards a lot more of these video game adaptations than we had before. And it may be because there's more success now unilaterally over the last few years with these video game adaptations, right? I mean, Fallout Season 2 just finished shooting. If you follow any of the people who are a part of that project on social media, you've got more of these things coming down from more of these video games. I think Dead Space is getting one. There's been so many over the last few. Last of Us is currently in its second season, so there's been a lot of them. Do you think now that these are starting to become more successful, studios are more inclined to now kind of look for name directors to be a part of this?
Because definitely think we're in like a good moment for video game movies, and so that may be why suddenly a bunch of them are moving forward, and A24 is getting the rights to like Elden Ring and Death Stranding and all this other stuff. Like it's the next hot sort of IP, I guess, along with short stories. Which are selling like absolute fucking hotcakes now. What's the point of writing a 120-page fully fleshed out script when you can just write like a 35-page short story or something?
Yeah, and they'll take it from there.
So yeah, I mean, video games. I understand why everybody's going nuts for him. This just isn't one that I'm not a gamer.
Yeah. Well, I think he's a good director for what he does, but not a great director, right? I mean, you look at Atomic Blonde, Deadpool 2, Hobbs and Shaw, Bullet Train, Fall Guy. I think Fall Guy is arguably the best of the stuff he's done. Maybe Bullet Train, but those films are kind of at times underwhelming. Like Atomic Blonde's a little underwhelming, even with all the great action sequences. The story itself is kind of flimsy. Same thing with Deadpool 2. That seemed to be a bit all over the place. Hobbs and Shaw is fun, but I mean, again, it just is a lot of fun action sequences tied together with a really weird plot or not a strong plot. And Idris Elba is doing the Lord's work trying to be the villain in that movie. So it's interesting. So,
he's a guy who's in the 2 range, Johnny, which is, I mean, on a good day, his movies are 2.5 stars. And on a bad day, his movies are 2 stars.
That's a great point. Yes. And every generation has those directors. That's an excellent point you bring up, Jeff, for sure. All right, well, let's move on from that because it's interesting to consider that situation. Let's move on to Jeff's story here. Jeff, what's this deal about James Mangold? You said James Mangold has a secret project. You reported this in Sneider. You said little is known about the top secret project, but it's a change of pace from Mangold's typical fare, which you've done Copland, Logan, and 310 to Yuma. So what can you tell us about this secret project that Mangold is working on, who, of course, is coming off the A Complete Unknown nomination?
I mean, it's a development title, and that's pretty much all I know. I know it's based on a book. It's based on like a children's book. This is probably going to be a family film. So I think he wanted a change of pace and something that skewed a little bit younger. I don't think this is going to be his next movie or anything necessarily. I know everybody freaked out. I was like, we're never going to get his Star Wars movie. I'm like, why? Like, David Leitch is working on 10 movies. This guy can't juggle like 2 or 3 projects.
That's true.
Star Wars is always slow going. So you got to have multiple balls up in the air in case that project falls apart. Since it looks like, Kathy's not going to be around much.
Oh, yeah. It's true.
Who knows what could change when she is gone.
Right.
So, it was more interesting to me that Mangold has never like done a Netflix movie. He was an EP on a series that was co-produced by Netflix, like an international co-production, but he's never directed anything for the streamer. And so that's what I thought was newsworthy. It's definitely true. I had multiple sources saying it, even though his reps kind of played dumb.
But you said that it's not an adaptation of Crenshaw, the Catherine Applegate.
No, it's not. I did, check that with them because I was like, I'm planning to, say that this is a possibility because it was announced years ago for 20th Century Fox. Like maybe it moved over to Netflix. It's the only family film on his IMDb Pro, and they're like, it's not that.
And you're right about him being busy. I mean, he's developing a Swamp Thing movie at DC Studios. We'll see if that even gets off the ground. A biopic of Buster Keaton, and as you mentioned, the Star Wars film. So it's an interesting situation. And going the kid route, that's fascinating too.
He makes good movies, Mangold. Like he's a guy who you can trust. Even I know everybody shits on Indiana Jones or whatever. I wasn't an Indiana Jones fan, and I liked it more than most people, I think. Yeah,
I liked Dial of Destiny. I thought it was fine. It's completely fine. People just lost their minds about it, so. All right, so we'll see what happens with that and keep tabs on the project. What's another thing we can, let's, do I have a picture for that? I thought I had a picture for that. Maybe I don't. Oh, that sucks. All right, well, let's get into it, man. The RAMBO prequel is apparently in motion, Jeff. What can you tell us about this? Is this real? Is this actually happening? Is this not happening? What's the situation going on with this RAMBO prequel from Millennium Media? The people who did The Expendables, Hitman's Bodyguard, and the Has Fallen series. It's supposed to go all the way back to Vietnam, the Vietnam War. So we're probably going to get a Colonel Troutman and a young Rambo as well. What are your thoughts on this?
I'm not a Rambo guy either.
Good God almighty. Are you an American? What are you talking about?
He's too old for me. I didn't have an old John McClane was my Rambo. I think that we should just reboot Rambo. Like, why are we pretending this is still, we're going to have a new young actor playing, but it's still going to be the same character. Just start over and reinvent him for a new generation. Right. I don't really understand the let's go to Vietnam route. But I'm curious, who you would cast as a young Sly.
I don't know that there's a young Sly out there. I got to be honest with you. I don't know that there's a young Sly out there that I've seen. You know what? I mean, Stallone is such a unique individual. To have someone come in to convey the Stallone energy, that is just so difficult. You wouldn't think it would be difficult because you can certainly make fun of Sly and make fun of certain things about Sly, but all those things are what makes him unique. And the uniqueness of him is very difficult to mimic or repeat. I mean, it's like trying to find a new Rocky Balboa.
Yeah, even if somebody like can pass for a young Sly, they have to be able to like be Rambo. They have to be jacked, right?
Yeah.
Super. I don't really know. I don't know what they do.
Yeah, like you look at actors with like black hair, right? I'm looking at Elordi. I'm looking at these other names. Like, do these guys convey that kind of thing? He's so uniquely himself. You'd have to find someone who's got that kind of, I don't know, street credibility or street kind of energy to him to convey that, Yeah, I think
I mean, they're like, oh, Stallone is aware of the project.
Yeah, the door is open for Stallone. They don't want him to sue them. That's why they see how he's mad at Erwin Winkler.
Jean-Marie Hollander, okay, like that's a guy who it's like, why isn't he directing Gears of War?
Oh yeah.
Is he settling for the Millennium projects? Because that guy is a great director. Like Sisu is fucking fantastic. I'm pumped for the sequel. Yeah. I've said for years, the Sprite makes me burp. I've said for years that Hollywood studios should be looking at this guy because I think he deserves more credit than he gets.
Yeah, as you said, but the writers here are Rory Haynes and Shrab Nashirvani, who did Black Adam, and that was not a good movie. And I got to be honest with you, Millennium's not really known for doling out quality when it comes to these kinds of things. So I don't know if that will be what you need to get over the top for this. Because, I mean, remember, the first Rambo film is a commentary on PTSD and the Vietnam War and how we treated our veterans when they came back from the Vietnam War. It was a very moving film, right? It's only the second one it became this like macho America, muscles, kill all these Vietnamese people type of franchise, So will this prequel go back to its origins, or will this prequel Just continue that and put it in Vietnam. And it's a really odd thing to go. Who wants to go back to Vietnam, Jeff, and explore that with Rambo?
Reinvent it for a new generation. John Rambo exists in the year 2025, and he's a young guy.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting.
Could be an Iraqi veteran.
Yeah, that could be interesting. Yeah. All right. Someone mentions Tyler Hoechlin. Do you think Tyler Hoechlin, after I don't think he's young though, right? I mean, you got to get someone in their 20s.
Yeah, he's like 40.
Yeah. You got to get someone in their 20s. Well, I love it's so insane that Stallone's not even involved, in it. It's very, very strange.
That way. He's aware of it.
He's aware of it. I sent someone doing a prequel. All right, let's move on to this story, dude. I got a picture for this. Highlander, how about this, Jeff? A few months ago, this is a report that came out here talking about how Lionsgate passed on funding Chad Stahelski's long gestating reboot of the immortal cult classic, The Highlander. The reason, basically too much money and too niche of an audience, and Henry Cavill. That's what the Wrap is reporting, citing sources close to the project, that Stahelski wanted $180 million to relaunch Highlander. Lionsgate was only willing to go up to 165, so they moved the project over to Amazon, and apparently it's happening now at Amazon. But apparently Lionsgate was like, we just don't see this as getting as many butts and seats as you think, and that Cavill can't sell the movie because of the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare and Argyle not doing good. So, Jeff, is there any fault in the logic here, and are you surprised by the move? And are you surprised about $180 million for Highlander?
What did I tell you? Okay, that fucking Guy Ritchie movie is sitting on a shelf over there, right? Henry Cavill and Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right.
Totally marketable guys. It's been sitting on a shelf at Lionsgate. Why? You tell me. It's probably not very good. So, yeah. And all along, if they were going to make a Highlander, that movie wouldn't be sitting on a shelf.
Right. They'd want to get,
And whether it's 150 or 180, they're both bad bets. Okay. Yeah. Lionsgate is smart as fuck to run away from this movie. Yeah. And Amazon is only all too happy to do it with its new strategy of betting on literally like the worst projects in Hollywood, in my book. If you were to ask me, Jeff, what are the projects that you as an investor would not put a dime in? It literally would be Highlander, Masters of the Universe, Voltron.
Right.
Thundercats is another one. Like, what are we doing here? These are from another era, not a good play by Amazon, and a smart decision by Lionsgate.
But you look at something like The Creator, and you can't tell me that the special effects in The Creator are somehow not, are going to be surpassed by what you're going to do in Highlander. That makes no sense. What's the $180 million for?
Right. If you were making it for creator money, which I think was 90,
either
70 or 90, then this project makes a lot more sense. At 150 to 180 million dollars, absolutely not. Goodbye. Get out of my office.
It's madness to me. I mean, it's not like Cavill is demanding $30 million to make the movie, for God's sake. This is mind-blowing to me.
He is not a box office star.
Yeah, listen, man, and the time is not long. Once you get to that point, if you can't consistently put people into the theater, you're going to end up like Naomi Watts playing third fiddle to Kim Kardashian on a Hulu series, and you don't want to do that.
Who is the Sean Connery character? Is it Kurgan or whatever the hell? Who is that?
It's some sort of Spanish lord by way of Edinburgh.
Right. Yeah. Like, I remember back in the day that they were talking about having like Javier Bardem or somebody like that. And that's like best case scenario. So you're telling me like Henry Cavill and Javier Bardem are going to like carry this $150, $180 million movie? No, absolutely not.
Noted Scottish Lord Ramirez. That's who he played. We had a lot of Ramirez's in Scotland for sure. But anyway, so that's the situation there with Highlander. I don't think they should even make this, Jeff, to be honest with you. I agree with you. Like, the people who love this shit, we're way too old. And we are not a financial demographic they need to be reaching out to. It's mind-blowing to me that they want it. I mean, I would even throw G.I. Joe in the mix. Like, please stop. Transformers, I think, is the only thing that was birthed in the 80s of these franchises that are similarly connected, like Thundercats and what have you. that should be being worked on. This is everything else should go the way of the dodo. It was fun for what it was, but the people you think are pining for this, they're not in the hundreds of millions, you know?
Well, when you look, I mean, there was just an article in Variety or someplace about like looking, it was, I don't know if it was trying to defend these 80s things, right? Because it's like, look at Top Gun, look at Beetlejuice, right?
That's different.
Yeah. Oh, I completely agree. I'm like, what? These are not the same.
Those are 4-quadrant films.
Right. And right. That is exactly what it said in the story. It said that this was a 1-quadrant movie, and that is correct.
I agree. It 100% is. It 100% is. It's all those GI. Listen, there's a lot of terrible movies, and they make a crap ton of money. GI Joe, they have had so many bites at the apple, and they've never done gangbusters at the box office, regardless of the quality. Minecraft movie does not have a good score, yet it made almost $1 billion. Transformers movies, a lot of people hate them, made $4.5 billion under Michael Bay. So, like, there are some properties that just transcend quality. I don't think G.I. Joe or Thundercats or He-Man or any of those, or Highlander, are those properties, man. They're good for series or a small budget, like 90 million, 80 million for that. That makes way more sense. So, all right. Anyway, the other thing with Lionsgate, Jeff, I got any thoughts on this? I tweeted about this. Mel Gibson's The Resurrection of the Christ is gearing up for a September shoot at Italy's famed Cinecittà Studios. The film has just found a distributing partner, and that is Lionsgate. They will be the home for Gibson's Passion of the Christ sequel, the studio announced on Thursday. They're calling it, for many, the most anticipated theatrical event in a generation. Jim Caviezel will apparently be de-aged to play the role of Jesus. And it'll probably come out in Easter of next year. What are your thoughts on this? I mean, this is 20 years later, bro.
Dude, people are still waiting for Jesus to come back. It's been millions of years.
That's
right.
Fair. That's fair.
I don't know if it's been millions of years. I have no fucking idea. Thousands of years. He wasn't prehistoric, Jeff.
No, Jeff. Well, I mean, yeah. Well, anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, how old was God when he had Jesus? I think it's probably a good play from Lionsgate. I think that there's probably a lot of upside to this project. This could be a movie that surprises and grosses $500 million or $700 million. I mean, look at what the first one did.
I said the first one was a massive surprise.
Yeah, so I think this is an upside play. I can't imagine that they had to like break the bank for it. I don't know if they just got, domestic rights or if they did worldwide, but the way that they finance their movies is by selling off international. I bet you can make a pretty penny selling international rights to this movie, where I don't think people care that it's from Mel Gibson. I think that makes Lionsgate a natural fit because they just released his last movie with Mark Wahlberg, Flight Risk, so they have a relationship with him. I don't know who we were expecting to release this movie if it did move forward.
Right. No, I'm honestly, because it was, I think, Sony Pictures in the first one through New Market Films, obviously. The first one was 20, 21 years ago. That's how long it's been. Caviezel's almost 60, and he's going to play a 33-year-old Jesus coming out of that tomb. I mean, I get that being buried for 3 days, you put some wrinkles on, but for God's sakes, you got to do a lot of editing to make him look young. And so, I mean, this is crazy to me. Both of those guys, in my opinion, I know you don't always agree, Jeff, but in my opinion, they've gone off the deep end with the conspiracy theories and their wackadoo accusations about what's going on in society. Okay. So I don't know what kind of film they're going to do, because I loved Passion of the Christ as a Christian myself. I love
it, whether it's Jim Caviezel or somebody else. I know they're going to spend this money to de-age him. I mean, no one's going because it's Jim Caviezel, and thus nobody cares what his views are.
You're insane. You're not a Christian. You have no idea what you're talking about. And with Jesus Christ, it is very important to us who are Christians, and how he is portrayed in a movie, TV show, what have you. It is incredibly important. You're insane to even say that, because that is a massive thing. When
you go Sound of Freedom, I'm pretty sure the Christians have Jim Caviezel's back.
Well, yeah, but that's a different thing. I mean, that's Jim Caviezel's fine in terms of but like playing Jesus is a whole nother ballgame when you're playing him in this arena. But I mean, we will see.
Christians are going to demand someone with better views as Jesus.
Better views? No, I mean in terms of age, bro. I'm not talking about views. I'm talking about age. Like, we got to get someone who looks like he's 30, not someone who is de-aging, or looks 60 for fuck's sake.
I don't understand. If they de-age him, then he's going to look 30.
But you say they're not going to do it.
What
Because
do you
they
mean?
don't care.
I don't think any. What do you mean? I'm saying that the audience doesn't care about who plays Jesus.
No, I'm telling you that they do. And if you're going to get someone who's in their 60s, you better DH him into his 30s. And if you don't do
They are DHing him. So
the
then
audience.
what's the issue?
Because you said they weren't going to DH it, that it doesn't even matter.
They weren't going to DH him. I said they don't care who this body is in front of them.
Okay. All right, fine. That's fine.
We don't care about the actor, whether it's a 60-year-old Jim Caviezel who gets DH'd or a real 30-year-old or whoever. It's about Jesus. It's not about, they're not selling it with the name Jim Caviezel.
It's got to be a good Jesus, though. It has to be a good Jesus.
His name.
There's a reason certain things are classics and certain things aren't. Because of how your Jesus is. It matters. All right. Don't mess with the Jesus man. All right, let's move on to this. Jeff, this is weird. We got ourselves our first look at Nicolas Cage and Christian Bale as John Madden and Al Davis, respectively. You and I are both big NFL fans, certainly aware of the history of the NFL. And I have to say this to you. Christian Bale looks fantastic as Al Davis.
Yes.
Nicolas Cage looks like not one goddamn bit of John Madden. So this is a Anthony Hopkins playing Richard Nixon type of situation here. Your thoughts on the shot, and does it excite you to see how good Christian Bale looks as Al Davis?
I mean, Cage doesn't really look like him, and when you're standing next to just a fucking chameleon, like Cage is never really a chameleon. Bale is a chameleon, so when you're standing next to him and he's as good as he looks, then it stands out even more. I think Cage, when he puts on a fat suit or more, because he's like pretty much regular Cage there, I think.
He's got the haircut the same.
But I think he's going to put on more prosthetics and stuff when he plays the larger Madden, and I think he'll look better.
I hope so.
Bale as Al Davis looks amazing, and it's exactly how I pictured him in my head when I wrote that story.
Oh yeah.
I knew it was early days, and like, can I actually picture Christian Bale saying yes to this? And I pictured him as Al Davis, and I was like, "There's no way Christian Bale says no to that."
That's fair. That's fair. I like the shot. I hope the film is good. It's just called simply Madden from Amazon Studios. Now, would you, if they came to you with a pitch on this, would you have accepted this? You just talked about Amazon greenlighting some of this stuff.
Yes.
Okay. All right. The film tracks Madden's journey from humble beginnings to coaching the Raiders to Super Bowl '76 and then doing the success in television and the video game. So I imagine it's going to be an expansive film here with David O. Russell. Like, he knocked it out with The Fighter, American Hustle, Silver Linings Playbook. So whatever my feelings are about his look of John Madden, I'm hoping this is a fucking awesome movie, man.
I like these kinds of product movies, right? Or like Air, which I thought was fantastic.
Oh yeah, Air was great.
Movies as good as Air, fucking great. If it's as half as good or 3/4 as good as Air, I'll take it. John Mulaney is playing the EA guy, right?
Yeah, Trip Hawkins. Yeah.
I mean, I think it's an interesting cast. I think Russell's a good director. Amsterdam notwithstanding.
Yeah.
That movie was unwatchable. But for the most part, he's pretty solid. So I'm looking forward to this one. It could be an awards contender. You never know.
Given David O. Russell's, and it's David O. Russell, just for anybody who's watching from the Schmodown. There's a period after the O. It's not O. Russell like he's from Ireland. Just want to make it fucking clear. Just want to make it fucking clear. But and you've got Catherine Hahn as Virginia Madden, Sienna Miller as Carol Davis. It's a good mixture of a cast here for this particular thing. But I'm curious, given David O. Russell's track record, do you think him and Nick Cage are going to come to blows at any point during the production of this movie? I mean, he has a track record of getting into it with people. So.
I mean, it seems like it's pretty. I don't know how far along it is, but no, I think Christian Bale may have mellowed with old age. You never know.
Oh yeah, that could be possible. All right. Well, let's do a little drum roll here because I think we've got ourselves our new graphics in work here for the hot mic. Let's. I don't think I have a drum roll. Do I? I don't think I have a drum roll. No. Okay. Well, let's put it up. Here we go. Boom. What do you think, Jeff? Does that look good, or do you need a little more color, a little more flair? I mean, it's things are burning, a little crisp. It's hot mic. It's clean.
I like it. Whoever put the time in to do it, I like it. I like the other one too. It doesn't really matter because to me, the show is in this box right here. Okay, it's not about the packaging.
Yeah. Yeah. It's about that those the cut of your jib, those sweet little dimples of yours. Absolutely. But yeah, this is our new overlay to match our new intro. And thank you to you know who. I'm not going to say his name till he's done with everything because I've had people steal graphic designers away from me in the past. So I'm keeping his name under wraps until everything is done. Then I'm giving a big, big thank you on all my social medias and my shows. But he's doing incredible work, and I love this. I echo Jeff's enjoyment of this particular look. We might add one or two more things, but otherwise, it's a pretty good overlay for us, and we'll keep it going forward. All right, Jeff, let's move on to the horror section of show. And I haven't used this one in a while, so here. That's right, the horror corner.
Here it is.
First, I got to ask you this. We have ourselves a new vampire slayer in the world of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Skeleton Crew's Ryan Keira Armstrong has been cast to be the main Slayer in the new film that is being, of course, executive produced and watched over by Sarah Michelle Gellar, who is not the original, right? Because that was Christy Swanson, but certainly the one from the TV show, which is what I think they're rebooting into a movie or advancing into a movie. So what are your thoughts on Ryan Keira Armstrong? She did the remake of Firestarter. A lot of people enjoyed her in Skeleton Crew. Do you think she's the one to do this?
Yeah, I mean, no comment here. I haven't seen Skeleton Crew, so
okay.
I don't. I've heard that she was good. Firestarter, I'm not going to judge her based on that. I didn't care for the Firestarter remake at all. So I could sit here and trash her based on that, but she's a kid, and that's not her fault, really. So tough to say. I'm more interested in what is the line, John, for where we need to see the call, where they get cast.
Oh, yeah.
Sarah Michelle Gellar, released the video, and she's like, how would you like to be the one who helps me slay some vampires? I want to, do they do that for everybody? Is it like James Vanderbeek got cast on the Elle Woods show? They're like, James, how would you like to be the councilman of the town in the Elle Woods series?
Of course, the most notorious one was Sasha Calle getting Supergirl, right? They called her and did it. And then, of course, that film crashed and burned and she was removed as Supergirl.
No, the last one is Moana.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's cool when you're telling it to a kid. And I think that's why they did it, right? It's when a kid gets a role like this.
Yeah. I get it. I mean, I get it. And I think, but it's all staged, isn't it? Like Sarah Michelle Gellar, that's all of that stuff is staged for Hollywood effect, for people to react to it and look really sweet and all of that. I mean, maybe the girl knew, and so she's reacting, or didn't know rather, and she's reacting honestly. But Sarah staged this or was planning to do it, so that's why they.
Of course, but, I don't think the girl knew it was coming.
Yeah, probably not. Oh yeah, Iman Vellani getting cast in Miss Marvel. They did a thing for that as well. So. But I like it. I liked her on Skeleton Crew. Yeah, I know she got nominated for a Razzie for Firestarter, and that caused a huge talk about Firestarter. That caused a huge firestorm. People were really pissed that they nominated a young actress like that. We could have messed with her confidence for a Razzie, and then they rescinded that nomination. Thank God. But yeah, I mean, I think she's a great choice here. I like her for this. I mean, I think quietly she's going to be a better actress than Sarah Michelle Gellar ever was, and so I like the idea of her playing it. And hopefully this is something that's good, but she's walking into another horror franchise, right? I mean, like Carrie or Firestarter, she did that Drew Barrymore did. She's now walking in to kind of be the lead in this, although Sarah Michelle Gellar is the executive producer, so she'll be in the show, but it's going to be curious to see what the end result of it's going to be.
This will be one of the dumbest things I say on the show, but I like that she had 3 names.
Right?
Like Sarah Michelle Gellar. I did kind of like that.
Now, what if they put her over the line? You never know. And the other thing that's part of the horror corner, Jeff, I got to get your thoughts on this. We have ourselves a new redesign of Jason Voorhees, apparently for this Camp Crystal Lake series. What are your thoughts? Some people like it. Some people are complaining, as of course they would. Do you like the design? Is there anything fucking different? Because I don't see a damn bit of difference here. Your thoughts?
Is it just me, or did you see a bulge in his pants?
Ew.
Is that just a shadow? I wonder if Jason's dick would shrink having been in the water for as long as he stayed in the water.
It was the mom who was in the water, wasn't it? Wait, I'm confused. Who was in the water?
I mean, it looked like Jason to me. It looks fine. I did think, they are casting right now for the Crystal Lake show. Backstage tweeted a little casting announcement for the new A24 horror series that's shooting under the name Mama's Boy. So right away, I was like, Mama's Boy. Okay, so this is Jason. And then all the things were like, we need campers who can swim. I was like, okay. Yes.
Voorhees is hung. Yes, he is. There you go.
I'll just say that tomorrow, in tomorrow night's newsletter, I am planning a story, a little follow-up story on one of Jason's horror brethren, one of the fellow icons.
Would it be?
I'm not gonna say yes. Nothing to me to say.
Oh, okay. I really am not eagle eye enough to notice any difference here, buddy. I mean, this looks the same. The machete, the fucking hockey mask, the unbuttoned shirt, the dirt and the grime, and the big boots. I don't see any difference from the Voorhees from before. Maybe I'm a fool.
What if it was Danny Trejo? He just can't let go of that machete.
Machete 4, Camp Crystal Lake, motherfucker. Anyway, all right, let's move on to this. Jeff, what are your thoughts on this? The HBO Max redesign. We're leaving Horror Corner now. We're back in the main show.
This is still Horror Corner, bro.
Okay, fair point. Max is returning to the name it had when it launched in 2020. It is now HBO Max. So this was announced at a bunch of upfronts that were happening here yesterday in New York. The executives cited recent momentum with the service adding global markets and 22 million subscribers over the past year, and also a goal to, quote, amplify the uniqueness of their brand to viewers. And Jeff, they leaned into it with a bunch of memes, a bunch of clips from their TV shows in their library to make fun of themselves for doing this. And though I want to applaud that, I also think it's super lame to try to short circuit the rightful criticism that was coming for you. Their incompetence. So your thoughts on it?
I mean, yeah, it was pretty dumb, just like the constant name changes that probably cost them tens of millions of dollars.
Good point. Yeah.
I mean, I can't imagine the money that was wasted. But ultimately, this is what you should call the service. So you have to credit them for finally coming around to the correct answer.
Good point.
Not always a terrible name because it's a proper name. So whenever I would write stories, I'd be like, and Max's series, whatever, and I'd be like, this looks stupid. Because people are gonna be like, "Who is Max?" And I'd always say the Max series instead of Max's series, like I say Apple's series. It just never looked good in print. I don't know why you would drop HBO when HBO has so much value to your company.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be funny if they changed it back next year?
Not funny.
I thought Peter Sciaretta had the best joke. Where did you see the photo that he tweeted?
No, I did not see the photo. Let me take a look. What did he tweet?
It was basically an HBO Max thing, I think, going over a new Avengers ad. So it's like, they're changing it, HBO Max to the new Avengers now. And that'll be the name of the streaming service.
That is great. I'm looking at it right now. That is hilarious.
Yeah, it was
I thought Ming-Na Wen's tweet. She said, "I've always called it HBO Max, just like I called this hellhole Twitter always. I haven't changed calling it." So, what is their attraction with keeping the Max? I just don't understand it. HBO is the pedigree.
It's more than HBO, though. It's obviously, I mean, it's a lot more than HBO. It's all the Warner Brothers Discovery like reality shows and. There is a distinction between HBO and Max, right? The Pit was not on HBO. If you had HBO, you couldn't watch The Pit. You needed Max to watch The Pit.
That's true.
Yeah, these are different things that when combined form HBO Max.
I just never thought Cinemax was that big of a deal. HBO was always the more.
Yeah. I guess it's supposed to stand for Cinemax, right? That like they did own it as well, but I don't think that's why they're keeping the name Max to like pay homage to Cinemax. I think it's just like another name for Plus.
I guess.
Max. Yeah.
It's like the CNN streaming service calling themselves CNN, or the ESPN streaming. ESPN wanting to just call themselves ESPN. That's a good point. And again, I just don't see value in the Max name at all, but I guess if they want to use it that way, I get it where you're coming from. But it was a big fiasco, so we'll see. All right, where else? Oh, yeah, Jeff, we got to talk about this, man. I mean, David Oyelowo here was interviewed recently about projects he's got going on, and he was asked about two separate projects here, which was one of them was his version of The Rocketeer that was going to be happening, The Return of the Rocketeer. J.D. Dillard had been attached to Helmet, but he exited the project. Writer-director Eugene Asher took over the script. And as of late 2023, Oyelowo said they had it was moving forward. They had a script, but in an interview with the LA Times, he confirmed that the film was effectively shelved. He also revealed that another project he was involved with, a Netflix adaptation of the novel Onyeka and the Academy of the Sun, was similarly stalled. And he thinks that, quote, Onyeka was exactly the kind of story we wanted to tell. After George Floyd's murder, there was a wave of support for projects highlighting underrepresented voices, but now it's become clear that much of that support was superficial. I could have told you that. Films like Onyeka and The Return of the Rocketeer are now harder to get made. And so he's essentially applying the DEI rules are affecting these studios to kill some of these Black-led or person of color-led shows, TV shows, and what have you. So is there validity to what David is saying, or is this more just convenience for PR's sake?
I think there is validity to it, but at the same time, it's project dependent. I mean, you know, The Rocketeer, you probably could have added to the list of movies that I said I wouldn't invest in.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, I didn't grow up on The Rocketeer. So I wouldn't really want to make an expensive, I mean, not to mention Disney's just cutting back on making expensive things for Disney Plus, right?
Yeah.
So if this was always designed to be like a streaming movie, seems like an expensive streaming movie, especially when there's not some major star in it. So I think it's easier to tell yourself if you're David Oyelowo, oh, they pulled the plug because this is a Black-led project, and not that just that like, yeah, this is The Rocketeer and they just didn't want to make it.
Right. Yeah, this interview was from a couple of weeks ago, but I thought we should talk about it because I thought the Rocketeer thing is something that people do enjoy, and I do think that a lot of these studios are rolling back anything that is Black-led or person of color-led or female-led, or they're being more cautious. As you said, it's project dependent. If they think the project can overcome that, they'll go forward with it. But if they think that's going to be, say it again.
And filmmaker dependent. I mean, if they're so conscious, right? Like they just gave $90 million plus to Ryan Coogler to make Sinners.
Yeah, right.
And copyright. So, you know, and that's the biggest hit of the year so far or whatever.
Right. Well, no, Minecraft is, but yeah, I hear what you're saying.
Sure. Fair enough. But, you know, I'm just saying, I don't think it's like we're just killing off all these Black-led movies. It's project dependent, and Marvel and Disney already has a whole ton of superheroes, right? From Marvel. What do they need this guy for? Plus, the first one was a flop, and it hasn't aged like a Hocus Pocus has, like some of these other things.
I feel like two things can be true, and that is, one, I do think these studios are cutting back on a lot of these projects, and I think you're fair to say that are led by people of color, women, and I think you're fair to say that they're project dependent. So that's what you've got to be aware of going forward, and the changing landscape. Just like a lot of these white movies were crushed or killed because they wanted to focus on more diversity in the studios. This is the game. It changes, you know, when it changes, and you've got to be able to roll with it. Also, David Oyelowo isn't that big of a draw. Let's be honest. David is a damn good actor. He was in Martin Luther King, was amazing. But how many people watched his Apple TV series that just dropped?
Exactly. Nobody.
You got to deal with the honest truth here, man. There are Black actors. People are going to watch a Michael B. Jordan Apple Plus series. Are they going to watch a David Oyelowo? No. And so maybe that's an element of why this stuff was put on the back burner. If he was Michael B. Jordan doing The Rocketeer, or Michael B. Jordan maybe doing this Onyeka movie, then absolutely, let's go forward. But I think you've got to look at it that way as well. And that's the reality of Hollywood, unfortunately. Look at Henry Cavill, a white man. There are questions about his ability to be successful financially for a studio in Highlander. So, yeah, it's all about whether you can put eyes on the project or butts in the seats. Really, it always comes down to that.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Netflix, what are your thoughts on this, Jeff? Madonna is moving her biopic to a limited series now in early development at Netflix with Madonna and Sean Levy, whose 21 Laps is an exclusive TV overall deal at the platform executive produced. This was supposed to be a movie with Julia Garner, and now apparently it's going to be a series here. It's unclear which period of Madonna's decade-spanning career it will focus on. But Garner has remained engaged, even appeared on stage with Madonna back in 2023. So she is still holding on to this thing, kind of like Mahershala Ali and Blade. and will be a part of it. So, Jeff, do you like this switch? Does this make sense? Do they sense that maybe people weren't going to blow up the box office to go see a Madonna biopic, or do they think this thing needs more time to tell its full story?
I think that's it. I think that she's just led such a remarkable life and had such an incredible career. It's like, why wouldn't we do this as a series, particularly with someone who is responsible for, one of the biggest Netflix series? I guess they said they have a relationship or something, Levy and Madonna. I don't know. But Netflix certainly has a relationship with Julia Garner,
right?
Who just signed on to star in like her third Netflix series after Ozark and Inventing Anna. She's going to be Caroline Ellison in the FTX show. I think this is a smart investment for Netflix. I think this guarantees that it's going to get made. That's the other thing. Like, you could just be waiting around for a while at Universal, whereas Netflix, I don't think anyone's really going to stand in Sean Levy's way once this thing is ready to go. I like it. I just don't know what the deal will be with the music, if they're going to get all the rights because she's in this, or if I don't know who owns the music, if it is Universal Music Group, because in that case, maybe like, well, they're going to do the Madonna story at Netflix, but we're going to have like all the music, and we can, because these are separate projects. It's not like they just took the script and moved it over. They're starting from scratch here. Universal still controls that Madonna project. Yeah,
for sure. And I see Noreen Arad saying Rocket Man was a flop. Yeah, but the Queen film wasn't a flop, and Rami Malek won an Oscar from it. So it just all depends on how you're going to do it. And I like the idea of a TV series, to be honest with you. You can take more time. You can show more things. And as you said, Madonna has been successful for many, many decades and has been she reinvents herself more than a Time Lord in a Doctor Who series, like constantly changing who she is every decade, and wasn't until recently able to always be one or two steps ahead in her reinvention. So yeah, it would be fascinating to see. Plus, you're not going to see Julia play old Madonna, so you're going to probably take her through the borderline phase, into the express yourself phase, maybe into the sex book phase, and then out of that into the Frozen phase, which I think is one of the best phases she ever had. So yeah, it's possibilities.
Yeah, I just think some people in stories are big enough to support two things. So like, people are saying in the chat, Michael's going to be a big hit. If Netflix announced a Michael Jackson limited series tomorrow, you're telling me people wouldn't watch it because they're already seeing a Michael movie? I think they'd see both. Just like we watched the OJ series with Cuba Gooding Jr. and the 7.5-hour documentary on ESPN. It's all about the approach, and they tell different things. So I think that Madonna is one of those people.
I even watched the new Netflix one that they dropped a few weeks ago that was just 4 episodes. If you're interested in it, it's done well, people will watch it. So,
and that OJ one was good. I thought it really had good stuff with Ron Goldman's sister.
Yep, agree with you, brother. One last thing. James Foley, Robert Benton, we lost these two wonderful directors recently. Jeff, thoughts on both of them? I mean, completely different directors, but leaving a legacy of good work here behind them in many different ways. Your thoughts on either one of them?
Still working on a little condolence blurb for Benton, who I know directed Kramer versus Kramer, but I'm not as familiar with what he did after. Kramer versus Kramer is fantastic, but my guy was Foley, and not just because of Glengarry or anything like that. It was Fear. Fear is one of my favorite movies.
Oh wow,
it really is, no joke. I've seen it. I can't even dozens of times.
This the Wahlberg one, right? Is that the Wahlberg
movie? And that to me is always going to be like James Foley's masterpiece.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah, I mean, James Foley directed 12 episodes of House of Cards, and he did the 50 Shades ones, of course. But there's so much about what he did in the past that I enjoyed watching, especially Glengarry Glen Ross. I directed that on stage back in 2000. One of the reasons I directed it was because of the movie, and I really loved the movie. And I know the Baldwin monologue is not in the play, but it was what motivated me to direct. And it was the first thing I ever directed, take a chance on it, because of how great that movie was and the performances he got from those actors. So I've always been a fan of James Foley. And speaking of which, directed numerous Madonna movies, music videos rather. We just talked about Madonna. James Foley is a big part of her career as well. So an interesting guy. But Robert Benton, fascinating cat as well, as you mentioned here, but with his directing, but also his writing. He wrote Bonnie and Clyde, What's Up, Doc, which a lot of people enjoy. He wrote the screenplay for Superman in 1978, Still of the Night, Places in the Heart, that great Paul Newman film from the 90s, Nobody's Fool. And the last thing he's credited as writing is The Ice Harvest, which I think is the John Cusack film, and what have you. But yeah, Kramer versus Kramer is his calling card. Place in the Heart was great. Billy Bathgate, I thought, was a good Dustin Hoffman gangster film, which I would never thought I'd ever say in my entire life. But yeah, no, and then ending with Feast of Love there in 2007. So two massive talents that we lost recently this week. All right, should we get? Well, we got one more. What are your thoughts on Mikey Madison being cast in Reptilia? Jeff, do you like this as the next move for her? There were rumors about all these other projects, but it's Reptilia.
Is this really going to be her next movie, or is this like a can announcement that changes cast in a week when the festival's over?
I'm asking you that question.
I think it sounded pretty ridiculous. She's not the mermaid. Kirsten Dunst is the mermaid, but
right.
I mean, and like the guy who's directing it, who did Monos, did you see that? I think you did.
Yeah, Monos. Yeah, I got to interview Julianne Nicholson for it.
Yeah, that was an interesting movie. He's an interesting director. I didn't think he'd be the guy to land Mikey Madison. I don't see this being her follow-up. I think this could be something that she's attached to for a while. I don't know if it had a start date already, but I think that there are other things in the works for her for sure.
Yeah, Alejandro Landes Echevarria is the director who did Monos. If you guys haven't seen Monos, I think it's on Hulu. Highly recommend people watching that. But
look good for sure.
Yeah. Reptilia is that there's a mermaid involved in the story, suggesting that fantasy or psychological angle going on. The thriller tells the story of a dental hygienist who is seduced by a mysterious mermaid into the dark and wet underworld of Florida's exotic animal trade, which is super weird. You know, Jeff?
Yeah, it sounds like one of these weird movies that get sold at Cannes, but like a year later, it's announced again at Cannes with a different cast. Like that happens every year without fail.
With Sydney Sweeney, yeah, exactly. Yeah, but I mean, there's a documentary on Netflix about the people who portray mermaids in the South. It is really weird. It's a cottage industry there in the South, but it's fascinating to see the boots on the ground approach to
it. Where Bill Belichick met his girlfriend? Was she a mermaid?
Oh, you said that. I don't want her coming after me. Not after Pablo Torre's story. I don't want nothing to do with that. We had some trailers this week. Jeff, your thoughts? Nobody 2 dropped. We had a new F1 trailer. Anything else what do you think of these and anything other trailers that you dropped this week that you liked?
I don't know if I saw the F1 one. I mean,
it was on Monday. Okay,
enough F1. I'm sold. I don't need to see any more.
Okay.
Nobody 2. I saw that at CinemaCon. I liked, that they're going the vacation route and the holiday road song and everything. I mean, it looked fun. It looked a little bit bigger. And Timo Tjahjanto, is an Indonesian madman.
Yeah.
Directing this one instead of Ilya Naishuller, who I think is also a really gifted action director. So, Timo's got chops, and he got something else off of this movie. I think I forget which job he got off of this, but it's a big one.
Anything else? You mentioned the other trailer. Oh yeah, did you get a chance to see Ironheart?
I saw Ironheart. I mean, it looked okay. I don't know that I'll watch it. It looked like for the Miss Marvel crowd.
Right. Okay.
But Task was my shit, bro.
Yeah, Mark Ruffalo in this with Martha Plimpton from the people who did Mayor of Easttown. And Emilia Jones is in this as well. So I watched this one this morning. Jeff texted me about it as well later on the day. This looks awesome, man.
Yeah, this is Inglesby's follow-up to Mayor of Easttown and like #1 with a bullet series of the year. And there's a lot of good TV this year, but I think Mayor of Easttown was incredible. And this is about like a group of guys who rob stash houses and rob like drug houses in Philadelphia, and the FBI assembles a task force to take down this crew. Ruffalo leads the task force, and Tom Pelfrey leads the bad guys who look like average family men. Maybe they're just trying to protect their own communities from these drug dealers or whatever. I mean, there's a vigilante element to it. I mean, they're not like robbing good people. They're robbing people who have a tough time reporting it to the police or whatever. So it's got a little like Wire vibe to it, a little We Own This City. The trailer is quite as good as the We Own This City trailer, which I think is one of the all-time great TV trailers. If you haven't seen that show, absolutely watch it. But I am pumped for fucking Task, which comes out in September.
Yeah, I like that as well. It was a good trailer. And it's very similar in some elements to Dope Thief, which is on Apple TV right now. If you guys haven't seen that, I highly recommend that.
It is like that a little bit, but Dope Thief was okay. I watched the whole thing. I like those two, but these guys are on another level.
Yeah, no, agreed, because it's HBO. It's a whole nother level. That's right. The one you're watching now, what is it? Stormy? What's the name of the one you're watching now that you can't talk about for a month? You mentioned Smoke. All right. Can you give us a facial reaction?
I mean, I watched it all. I watched 5 episodes on Mother's Day.
Oh wow!
Finished the show, and I've been reading the book now. So like clearly, I was interested in it. I look forward to talking about it next month. I think I love Taron. I think he's a great actor. So yeah. I'm looking forward to when Apple drops a trailer for that one. We can talk about it a little bit more.
Yeah. All right. One last thing we should talk about. Do you want to talk about the Valnet thing, or do you want to move on to the questions, man? How are you feeling right now?
Let me. I mean, we can talk about the Valnet thing. I wanted to do a little Marvel update.
Yeah, go ahead. Yes, let's do the Marvel update instead. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
I mean, Source reached out. This is the person I've gotten some X-Men stuff from. Okay. Some in fair, decent. Some of it's not. But anyways, they gave me something that passed the smell test. So, but first, let me like back up. So, Spider-Man 4. Obviously, we've heard Sadie is not playing Jean Grey. I don't know if she's going to be MJ or not. I think she's going to be like the new friend who sort of fills the void of Zendaya and Ned or whatever. I don't know how much if they'll be around as much. So I think she's going to be Peter's new friend. It would be interesting to me if like she had a nickname almost like Icebox in Little Giants, like, and everyone like halfway through. There's like a twist where he's like, and what's your name? And she's like, oh, I'm MJ. And he realizes he's in like a different universe or something like that. I have no fucking idea. This is just me speculating. But the word on the street is that Mr. Negative is the villain.
Oh, yes.
Is that already out there?
I've heard the Mr. Negative thing. Yes. People have been speculating about that. But what do you hear? Who might be playing it?
That is supposedly what's going on. And then there's a secondary female villain because, there always has to be more than one villain in a Spider-Man movie. And the guy continues to hear Sarah Snook rumored for that from Succession. I think I had tweeted something, that there was another SS who was being rumored. She was the one I was talking about or whatever. Who was the other SS that someone had mentioned for a potential villain in Spider-Man?
I don't know. I've seen the Stephen Yeun is the one they're speculating could be playing Mr. Negative. So that could be interesting.
That would make sense. Obviously, he nearly joined Thunderbolts.
Yeah. And he said he had another Marvel project lined up. So this may be it. Yeah.
So like the same way that they built the F4 cast around Vanessa Kirby.
Yes.
Supposedly building the X-Men around Jean, Charles, and Cyclops. Now, I think if you read between the lines of what Harris Dickinson has been saying lately, it sounds like he's probably not going to be an X-Men.
Okay.
Like I'm real focused. I like a focus on one thing at a time. I'm not someone who can like juggle things back and forth. And so I just reading between the lines, it felt like he's going to be wrapped up with Beatles stuff for the foreseeable future in a way that he can't just like pop in as Cyclops whenever Marvel gives him a call, that kind of thing. Because I think you need to, keep your schedule kind of flexible for Marvel, especially if they have you in first position. So I think Cyclops will end up being played by somebody else. I continue to hear black actors for Charles.
Ooh,
I think that could be the especially with a white director. I mean, because I really thought it was going to be a black director on this, but I wonder if that's the direction that Marvel wants to sort of take and to differentiate its Charles from Patrick Stewart and James McAvoy. So, and again, I the rumor was that they want Denzel for Magneto, right? For Magneto, that's right. And so it'd be interesting if they had a black counterpart as Charles. Coleman Domingo is someone who I think is high on that list. Of a potential if they go with an older Charles. It's funny, Jamie just said, what about David Oyelowo? No, I think Coleman Domingo is higher up on the list than David Oyelowo at this point. But the name that stood out to me as far as like rumored names.
Okay.
This was the latest name for Jean Grey.
Ooh, okay, go ahead.
Daisy Edgar Jones, who just signed into a Denzel movie with Robert Pattinson.
I got to be honest with you, that may be the best name I've heard for Jean Grey, like all around. Because we know Daisy can play tough. Daisy can play romantic, and Daisy can play the stress of possibly being involved in a love triangle with Cyclops and Wolverine. So I think, and you catching someone who's really on the come up after Twisters.
Right. Like Sadie was too young, I think,
for what slightly too young. Yeah.
Yeah. For what they have in mind. And, I'll be honest, this is like the same source who told me that she was being eyed for Jean Grey. So you can take this with a grain of salt as well, since obviously Sadie is not going to be playing Jean Grey. Yeah. But Daisy feels right as well. I know that Disney is really high on her. Obviously, she was going to be, and I don't know if this project is moving forward or not, but she was the female lead in Prince Charming.
That's right. Yeah.
Movie that they're working on. Again, I don't know what the status of that project is. I really haven't heard much since I wrote that story, but I know that she is well liked in the Mouse House, and that they see her as, a future movie star. So, and I think she kind of looks the part as well. So I think that she's right on the right level for Jean.
I agree with you. I do not disagree with you at all. I think it's a great choice if she's the one they go with, because she's just a fantastic actress. If you guys haven't seen Under the Banner of Heaven, you've missed out on one of the best performances on a Hulu series ever. And what she did in Twisters was great. Even though I didn't like the movie, I thought she was damn good in it. So she is someone that people should be watching constantly. And she's doing a lot of these independent films recently that really show the breadth of her talent. So just throwing it out there, something to consider going forward. I like the idea, dude, bro. I like the idea.
Would you like the tweet that I put out? I not that I was the first one to suggest it, but Patrick Schwarzenegger as Scott. Do you think? Could you see that? No.
There's rumor. People put out picture of Schwarzenegger on set, rumored to be playing Cyclops as well, but people are trying to debunk that as AI or whatever. But I mean, I suppose it makes sense. I don't know how dynamic Patrick is. I didn't see the white. I'm on your side now on Flipped. Like, I didn't see White Lotus season 3. From what I've seen of Patrick, he's fine, but he doesn't really move the needle.
It's like me not seeing Skeleton Crew, so I can't weigh in on Ryan.
Right.
You need to see White Lotus before you even put forth an opinion on that.
That's fair. I haven't watched it, so I don't know. But from what I've seen in the past of his other projects,
I know Gen V, and that would give you an idea. But
I'm going to throw one out there because I just got a text from someone, a source, who said something, and they said they've heard that Sadie Sink is playing Mayday, Mayday Parker. So connecting to the Toby universe. He's her daughter, but that's what they've revealed.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Mayday Parker is who's
Mayday Parker is Tobey Maguire's daughter of his Peter Parker from that Spider-Man universe.
So it's his sister, but from a different universe.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So it's right. It's Tobey Maguire's daughter.
So he's playing somebody.
He's Peter Parker's daughter. And this is fans. No way they do Mayday. There's fans already. Like, do you want it or not want it? Like it could be fun. Why don't we see if they can do it? Why is it no way they do Mayday?
That makes sense in like the sense that like she's playing someone from a different universe. You got to mess with like the universes things, and that's why I kept saying, is she playing MJ just from a different universe? So when you're saying she's playing Mayday from a different universe, that kind of also makes sense.
She's from a different universe. She is the teenage daughter of Peter Parker and Mary Jane, and she first appeared back in 1998 in What If number 105. She has been known as Spider-Woman and Spider-Girl. So that could make sense. And it makes sense on so many levels because I don't always look at casting as just, do they look the part? The casting is also, where is this person in their career? And what are you going to get? So if you cast someone like Sadie Sink, you're not making her the romantic interest. You're giving her something needy to do. So her playing Mayday Parker makes a fuck ton of sense to me because that's a meatier role than playing the MJ love interest of Peter Parker. She's going to have her own thing to do. And it's almost like a dry run for Spider-Gwen. So are we going to get that down the road?
Is she Spider-Girl? Is that what she is?
Yeah, Spider-Girl and in the MC2 is a different universe. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think of Nick Cage as Spider-Noir?
I liked that 30-second trailer that we got. I really, really don't believe that Lord and Miller were upset with Hulu and broke their contract because of the budgeting or for that. It can't be that show they're upset, or Sony rather. They can't be that show they're upset about. So, but I liked what we got. I like what we got.
This is the first shot of Nick Cage as Spider Noir. Like it's just a guy, and it could be the guy on Hollywood Boulevard there with the fucking hat on,
turning his goggles on. Yeah,
Nick Cage is under there. Cool.
I hope it's good though, because I like someone said it in here. Yash said it really well. The Sin City vibes definitely had Sin City vibes. So I like that.
I've heard that show is going to be cool.
Really?
I can't imagine a world in which I or anyone else subscribed to MGM Plus to watch it. So
yeah, I think that's why they announced that it will be on Prime Video like the next day.
Oh, did they? Oh, yeah. I missed that announcement. Forgive me.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
They know people aren't going to sign up for this for MGM Plus.
I mean, it'd be a lot of money to spend on a show that nobody, put it on a streaming service that nobody watches. But with the Spider-Girl stuff, I think that if Tobey Maguire is coming back, then that is a sort of storyline that would keep him interested and invested in this franchise.
Yeah.
Let me ask you: would Peter potentially have like a romance with this girl? Could there be like a weird multiversal incest plot? Because incest is very hot right now.
No, not an incest.
You didn't watch White Lotus season 3, bro.
It's a different Peter Parker, bro. It's a different Peter Parker. So. No, I mean the positive. She wouldn't have to change her name, I guess, if they were ever to get married. But like, no, the thing is
totally cool.
Yes,
yeah, you have no problem with Peter Parker hooking up with his sister from another universe.
Yeah, but it's a completely different person. It's completely different Peter Parker. Not even any bloodline in terms of the connective tissue there. So no. My question to you is the actress from The Bear. She got cast. Do you think she could be playing? Have you heard anything more on this
last week? I mean, I think that she could be. She seems maybe a little older, but
a little older, yeah.
I don't know what age they're planning to introduce Miles as. So.
Yeah, all right.
If they are, I don't know.
Oh, is it part of White Lotus? The sleeping with your? Oh my God, HBO loves incest. Boardwalk Empire.
I keep saying sister. It's right. It's his daughter.
Yeah.
Parker's daughter. So. Yeah, I don't know. Either way, it's fucking weird.
It's my daughter, my sister, my daughter.
Sister, I don't fucking know, dude. Guys, I don't read these comics. I've been reading a ton of comics lately.
Really?
I got the last couple issues of Saga.
Who is helping you pick these out?
Oh, I have my own taste.
Okay, all right. Because I can certainly send you some, or send you down the road to some.
Ed Brubaker, like All My Friends Are Junkies one.
Oh, 100 Bullets you need to be reading as well.
Everyone forget, yes, daughter, not sister. My bad. Yeah. But everything still applies.
All right. We don't have time for the rap article, I don't think, Jeff. So do you want to just get into the questions?
Sure.
Unless you want to talk it, we can do it, but then we got to rush through the questions. Your choice.
No, let's do I want to get out of here. I need to get out of here on time.
Sounds good. Justice Williamson rather says, "Hey, John and Jeff, I'm a huge fan. Keep up the amazing work. Thank you. My question is, how do you guys feel about voice actors being one myself? I was curious."
Roca is one, guys. That's why I said that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that they're really talented at what they do. That's why they're brought in, when the studio could hire a big name for something, but it's like, no, we want an experienced voice actor doing Herbie or Wally, rather than just, hey, let's get a celebrity to say beep, bop, boop or whatever. There's more to it than that.
Yeah, I've always had love for voiceover actors, even as a kid. I mean, some of those shows that we watched as kids, we loved because of the voices of those voiceover actors, and I've always respected them as actors. And I was very honored to book things as a voiceover actor with Transformers and other things that I've done in the past. And I even ran a podcast for a year, hosted a podcast for a year with Yuri Lowenthal, who is the voice of Insomniac Games Spider-Man, where we interviewed voiceover actors about their business and their lives and what they went through. They're the kindest people in the world, and they're the only section of entertainment where if a producer goes to them, the voiceover actors go, "I'm not the right voice for this. You know who is, and let me give you his phone number or her phone number." And so I've never seen that. There's no on-camera actor who's like, "You know what? I don't want the opportunity. Give it to someone else." It doesn't happen. But in voiceover, it does, and that tells me that it's a really good community to be a part of.
I'm surprised because I always heard that people weren't allowed to look you in the eye on set. Wait, dude, before we do the question, should we do Mission Impossible? Everybody's upset.
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that. Let's do it. Yes. We had so much to talk about today. Let's do it. Mission Impossible Final Reckoning is out in theaters now with Tom Cruise, of course, Haley's Atwell there, Simon Pegg. And look at that pretty little face there. Look at that Punim. All right, Jeff. Jeff, you hated the film and you hate America. Why?
This is the problem with people don't have reading comprehension these days. I gave it a C+. Does that mean I hated the film?
I mean, it didn't mean you didn't like the film. C is not what you. How many people are happy to get a C at school?
I wouldn't be happy if I was them. I wasn't happy as a viewer. This movie is so undeniably mid, John. It's like shocking what a pass it got from the critical community, including you.
Okay.
This movie is a mess for 75 minutes. A mess. How do you not see that?
Because it's not a mess. It's very easy to follow. If you watched the movies in the past, you know exactly what they're referencing. You know exactly what they're doing. And it's not a difficult plot. The world's going to fucking blow up. I need to stop this computer. I got to go and figure out how to put these things together and get the key into the right place in that submarine and get stuff out. That's it. It's really not that difficult of a plot. I don't know why everyone's getting convoluted with the references.
So convoluted, okay? You could have cut an hour out of this movie and not missed a goddamn thing. There was so much techno babble and cyber jargon, and we got to get this and upload it to this and that. Not to mention, you're relying on a pickpocket where it's like you have 1 millisecond to get this thing. I mean, I don't want to spoil the movie.
Yeah, don't spoil it, damn it. Yeah.
It's just, it was ridiculous in a way that past Mission Impossible movies, I don't think have been ridiculous. Do I think that those 2 sequences in the second half were great? Yes. I thought the submarine sequence was great. I really like the plane finale.
Yeah.
But that's it. 2 great sequences do not a great movie make. Okay. This movie was such a mess that the person I took to the movie, who happens to be a big producer in town, walked out halfway. He was like, this is so depressing. It's so astonishingly poorly written.
Yeah.
The editing was bad. I mean, it was, come on, dude. Come on.
Can you tell me who the producer was so I can see their so I can look at their resume and see the non-mess films that they've made to judge this film as a mess and walk out of it? I would love to see this producer's resume and see the films on their fucking resume to see if they're not making a mess with any of their films. Nonsense. Like, this film it's made for the people who love the franchise. It is absolutely made for people. Yes, it kisses Tom Cruise's ass through the whole movie. As a massive fan of Tom Cruise, I had no problem with this. And as a massive fan of Ethan Hunt, I got it. I didn't mind the technical. It's an intelligent film. It's a dense film. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of political maneuverings that's going on. There's a lot of things you got to factor in with every movement they're making. So it is a dense film.
Is it easy to follow what you just said, or is it a dense film?
What? We'll say this again.
Is it easy to follow? Or
yes, that doesn't mean it's not dense. Easy to follow and dense can be the same, can be part of the same movie, for God's sakes.
Dude,
because the broad brushstrokes are there, but the denseness comes in how the specificity of how they get to each plot point. And so to me,
Entity is such a bad villain. Okay, and Gabriel was horrible. Esai Morales, I thought he was okay in Dead Reckoning. He was so bad here.
You're insane. Esai was so good. You're insane.
I don't know if you're saying this because he's Latino. I don't know.
Stop with those accusations. You cannot comment on any Jewish actor ever. Then
I'm half joking, but this dude was bad.
He was not bad. I thought he was damn good. I was happy to see Esai finally get a chance to be on screen again in a big film because he was damn good in the 80s. I've always loved him as an actor. He's damn good in NYPD Blue.
He was okay in the last one. I didn't mind him in Dead Reckoning, but in this, he's so stranded. It's so ridiculous.
That's fair as a criticism of how they treat him. Yes, he disappears for large stretches of the movie. I think that's a fair criticism. That's got nothing to do with his performance as an actor, though. I disagree with you there.
I thought his performance was bad.
I like the Entity because that's what we're facing now, Jeff. AI is growing exponentially every day. The Lady Outlaw is taking an AI course, and the stuff she comes back and tells me from what the teacher is teaching her, it's really unsettling if people knew how deeply AI is ingratiating itself into our world. People are using
Reckoning, right? I thought that was cool that the fucking AI Gabriel can walk through an airport and delete himself in real time.
Oh yes.
From footage. That's what is the AI doing in this? It's not doing anything. It's just waiting to be found, basically.
No, it's what are you? I'm not going to spoil it, but the AI is taking over the world in essence, and the world's ability to defend itself. What are you talking about? It is absolutely going through it. You know exactly what the AI is doing. They even check back in to show you what the AI is doing every few minutes in the
Everything with
movie.
the cabinet was terrible. Okay, every fucking moment of it was horrible with the cabinet.
Disagree.
The only good newcomer was Tremel Tillman, who I did like his submarine captain.
Tremel was great. Agreed.
And I liked that they brought back Donlow from the first film, and I liked his Inuit wife. Those were the two characters who I was like, I really need these two to survive this.
Yeah, yeah.
Everyone else, I don't give a shit.
Right.
Greg Carson Davis, fucking Benji, come on, dude, give me a break.
My God, you're insane. I thought that was great. Simon Pegg. I thought his character moving into what it moved into was great. I will say this though, I'm going to have a longer review later on this weekend, but like, I do feel like Haley wasn't 100% up to the task. I gotta say, I love Haley. I think she's great in the Captain America series and voiceover for Captain Britain or that she does there and What If. But like, I don't know, man. When you go from Rebecca Ferguson to Haley Atwell, it's not necessarily a step down. I don't want to be insulting like that, but
step down.
Yeah, there's a difference. Rebecca
She's a boring performer, and she was bad in this movie. She has no chemistry with Tom Cruise.
I have to agree with that. Like, because there's some really poignant moments that they're trying to sell you between them, and I don't 100% dial into it. So I don't disagree with you there. Just to be fair, I don't disagree.
I am the easiest guy to get to cry in a movie, and I love these movies. Like and that's why I was so disappointed. Right. And I liked it a little bit more than David Ehrlich, who gave it a C.
Oh my God. I thought Ehrlich was a curmudgeon and a half with that fucking review. Ridiculous, man. Yeah.
No, I thought he made a lot of fair points. I thought David Poland made fair points. I literally don't understand the reviews that are doing cartwheels for it, with people saying this is the great. I mean, I literally started blocking people on Twitter. They didn't say anything to me. I just saw their take on Mission Impossible. It was like, I can't have this person looking at my tweets because this person's taste is garbage.
What's wrong with you? You can't make yourself live in a bubble, Jeff.
Like if they went too overboard, like it was just they're trying to get quoted, because that's what this is just a contest. It's a contest to be quoted in these ads, and people were just trying to one up each other with more hyperbole after the next. It was really something.
I just want to make it clear. I don't do that. I just like to write my reviews, and one of the reasons I write my paragraph reviews is because Jeff has told me many times I'm not a real critic because I don't write my reviews. So when I try to do,
I've just told you that you're a good writer, but yes, that critics write reviews. They don't just go on TikTok.
Well, that's why I try to write multi-paragraphs. That's my way of writing a review without, because I don't have a site to put it on. So I do it on my social media, write multiple paragraphs as my review of the film. But there is criticism to be had, but for me personally, thoroughly enjoyed it. And I thought it was like a Chicago song from the 1980s. Everything was super important. And the score, the massive beats and drum beat, all of it was like dun dun. Everything was massive, and so I like that approach. I thought it was a big swing for what they were trying to do, and I liked it better than the last movie. So, that's my opinion. All right. Anyway, there we go. And Mike Joyce, it's not a spoiler. You know what an AI is trying to do. I mean, come on. You know what it's trying to do.
World, that's a spoiler for every villain in every movie. I mean,
that they want to take over the world.
In this case, though, it was like, it wants to destroy the world, but take over the world. But if everyone's dead, then what is there to take over? I thought it was just a very poorly done plan.
Okay. All right. We disagree. The Shadow says, as Gears of War fan, I'm concerned about the choice of director because I hated Bullet Train. That's fair.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't hate Bullet Train either, but like that's a mid movie. That was a great story. I was very disappointed because I read the book and I saw it in my head, and this wasn't the movie I pictured.
I always think he has a great idea he does great idea for movies, great action sequences, but they just don't hold together as powerfully as they should. Max Law says, hurry up, tomorrow debuts with 0% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's a total critic pylon, and the movie is not that bad with some great filmmaking throughout. Oh, I disagree. It was a chore. I went to see it last night. Ugh. Jeff.
I mean, these reviews have not been encouraging, and I don't want to say, well, the critics have lost their mind because,
not again.
Part of me suspects that they are correct. But you can see hey, we're going to get behind this movie. We love this movie. We're critics, and it's such a herd mentality. Sonny Bunch just did a podcast with Richard Rushfield about this. I haven't listened to it yet, but I want to. And so when there's a green light, oh, well, this movie sucks. Now everybody's got to say it sucks. And we don't want to fall out of step. We don't want to be the one guy defending this movie. It's like I have to shit on a movie at some point because I'm a critic. Let's choose my targets wisely, and it's going to be this one with The Weeknd because look what everybody did with The Idol. There's just people and things that have to get good reviews and people and things that have to get bad reviews. And it doesn't even matter what the fuck it is.
Okay.
I can't wait to see it.
Fair point. Danny Productions, I guess McQuarrie was on cruise control in this installment. No, he wasn't.
I'm telling you, someone's got to go in there, John, and say to McQuarrie, give me the fucking keys, you fucking cocksucker motherfucker. To the keys of the franchise, the cruciform keys.
Yeah, you gotta rip those out of Tom Cruise's hands.
Yes, someone else needs the keys.
Max Law says, is Jeff hearing any auditions to the cast of Jane Schonbrun's next film with Movie? Any news with it currently filming?
No. They did some announcements this week with two people, I think, but no.
All right. Marcus Cisneros, John, you should play Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Wildlands. Takes place in Bolivia. Ooh, thank you, Marcus. I will look that up. Absolutely. And then cross-reference the locations with my mother's memory of it. Tortius says, one of the best tourist destinations in LA for a classic film fan. Big up cinephiles. What lesser-known gem from Golden Era would you recommend? Well, what's the Golden Era film? Like the 50s, 40s, the 70s? What would you say, Joe?
I don't know what people have different things. I mean, the Golden Era, I always thought it was the 70s, but some people would say it's 90s, and some people, you're right, would say it's the 40s or 50s. Okay.
Well,
go to the Academy Museum.
Yeah, 100%.
Come to my apartment. $20. I'll give you a tour of my apartment. Per person.
Our friend Paul Preston from the Schmodown, he runs a tour guide where he drives you in his car, and you sit in the back of the car like an Uber, and he takes you to all these different places where they've shot film. So I would recommend looking up Paul Preston's tour guide situation there.
Good rec.
What lesser known gem from a Golden Era would you recommend? It's tough to say, man. A lot of Humphrey Bogart stuff at the end. In a Lonely Place is an awesome movie. So there's a lot of late Humphrey Bogart before he passed that doesn't get the love that his earlier stuff did, and he's great. Thank you, DapBoy22, for the super sticker.
Night of the Hunter, baby.
That's a good one, too, yeah. Gallia Productions, is Marvel laser focused on casting the X-Men? LOL. Oh, Jesus. Don't laugh at your own bad
pun. Is that a Cyclops thing? I don't even know.
Yes, it's a Cyclops thing.
Okay.
Max Lot, did Jeff enjoy A24's Friendship? I LOL'd hard. I haven't seen it, Jeff. I skipped the screening because I'm sure I can watch it with 5 people on a Thursday next week. But what are your thoughts on it?
I thought the first half was very funny. I laughed a fair amount in the first half, but it felt like it was just like a sketch that, it was at feature length. And I do think it ran out of steam in the end and went a little darker than it had to.
Okay.
Okay.
While it has just got out of Final Destination Bloodlines, was excited for it, but it was just okay. I enjoyed it in moments, but the script was messy for me. Jeff?
Again, this is not a movie that I need an amazing script for. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. I see it tomorrow night. I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, neither have I. Just a real quick plug. The Ringer has done a great article talking about that opening to Final Destination 2 with the truck and the logs. And they interview all the people who are involved in it and making it that are still alive. It's a fantastic article. Highly recommend people reading that. Gallia Productions, I guess Roka's in for a reckoning. Dude, you're killing yourself today. Galliot also says, I don't really hunger for those Hunger Games scoops. Jesus Christ. Galliot, Leitch doesn't really grind my gears. All right, we got through them. Thank you.
Hunger Games, though, it did add a whole bunch of people this week. Kelvin Harrison as BT, Maya Hawke as Wirus, Ben Wang as Wyatt, and I'm told Glenn Close is in talks as well. Wow. I think you'll hear about the older cast a little bit later, but I gotta say I like the cast that Lionsgate has assembled, even though I don't care for what they did on Monday night. The idea that I got out of Mission Impossible started screaming about Paramount Pictures is hilarious to me. These people they have no idea what I do.
They don't.
No, we are not the same. Not you and I, but I mean these people in these screenings.
I know what you mean.
You're not the same.
Aviral Shrivastava says, it's not like Snyder created the idea of geopolitical politics in Superman. I just didn't enjoy the execution. The animated Superman versus the Elite film handled it better for me and was based on a comic from 2003. Right. You didn't like it. I did. There's a difference there, right? There's the difference. So we'll see if I like the James Gunn's approach to geopolitical climate situation in his Superman. We'll see if you like it or not. So we'll see.
Man of Steel is good, but I mean, those other movies, Justice League and Dawn of Justice, were bad.
I don't disagree with you. Avril also says, also for Jeff, any new Superman test screening news or word on the current internal reception?
Again, all I heard, the last text I got, you ain't gonna like it. It was just 2 words: Superman stinks.
Oof. Miguel Zion says, hey,
make up your own mind.
Right. We got to go. We'll make up our own minds. Miguel Zion says, hey, y'all, I'm with Jeff on Jake Schreier doing X-Men. I don't love it, but I understand it. I was thinking they could have gotten John Watts, but he's too busy now. Oh, yeah, for sure. I think he's going to stay away from superhero shit for a bit, John Watts. I just have a feeling. Also, who would have y'all wanted to do X-Men? Someone who would have been available, a long shot, but Soderbergh would be nice for an ensemble film. Maybe Jordan Peele, Jeff?
I mean, yeah, like I said, I would have liked Jordan Peele or Ryan Coogler. I really thought that they were going to hire a director of color on this movie.
Michael Mann's X-Men would have been a great situation. Having Michael Mann go all the way back to Band of the Hand when he's putting together a bunch of young kids under Stephen Lang's supervision. I think I'd love to see his X-Men. Like Stephen Lang as Professor X would be awesome. Matt Sinister McCall, seeing 3 to 4 movies at Rio tomorrow. Jesus, going to eat popcorn until I'm physically ill. Hell, Jeff, if I wrote a horror screenplay, who do I submit it to?
Me. Email it to me, and if it's any good, I'll throw it to somebody else.
There you go. Plethoric says, Gunn said, quote, encouraging news for Wonder Woman soon. Do you think she will be cast before DCU's Batman unless it's Pattinson? Yeah, Jeff, are we going to get a Wonder Woman cast?
I don't know. I mean, I can't reveal her name, but I think I told you that someone reached out to me. An actress reached out to me saying, "Oh, I heard Gunn is starting to cast like Wonder Woman. Have you heard anything?" And I would have loved to have helped this actress. I had not heard anything. I can't wait to see who it is. I don't know. Again, I don't know if it's going to be just your average white lady.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I hope it's Adria Arjona from Andor. I hope she plays.
Will be good. I think
I like her. Damn good in Hitman. Scott, appreciate you guys. Celtics in 7. Jeff, come on, you're not winning tomorrow night, are you? In New York? Do you think that's possible?
We have the bet. What do you mean? We were up 20 points in game 1, up 20 points in game 2. We just blew them out again. We're the better team, but when you play down to their level or the shots ain't falling, yeah, we're going to lose. And I guess you could say that about any team, but we're clearly, outmatched, and we're not getting any production from even KP. I see there's no reason why we couldn't win this series. Just take it one game at a time. There's no reason. We don't need
Coach. One game at a time. Thanks, Coach. Who you got tonight? Thunder and Nuggets in Denver. Who you got?
I have Denver. I think they're going to force a game 7.
I think it's go 7. I agree. Sydney Hogarth. Hi, John Jeff. What was the last quote? This should be made into a film/TV show moment you had with a property or have always wanted. Jeff, agree about fear. There you go.
All right. I was reading something today. It was some stupid inside history Instagram account kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, how have we gotten 5 zillion Batman movies and 6 zillion Superman movies, but we've never gotten a movie about this woman who was like, I don't know if she was French. I'm forgetting the fucking thing, even though I took a screenshot today. She was like a French woman who seduced SS officers during World War II.
Wow.
And they would come over and then she would lure them into the woods and fucking kill them.
Wow.
That's the movie I want to see. And you know what you call it?
What?
Seductress. And the S and the S at the end of seductress are fucking capitalized.
Ooh. In the SS design? Maybe? I don't know.
Sure, whatever. I just, a fucking woman seducing Nazis and then killing them. Sign me up.
She is the German Black Widow. Samuel says, if you two, I don't know what my answer to this one is. Probably, I don't know if I've got an answer to this one too. Everything I don't think I have an answer. I'm sorry. Samuel says, if you were to reboot Flash Gordon, who would you have star and direct? I would never reboot Flash Gordon.
Yeah, add that to the list of movies I wouldn't touch with the 10-foot pole. That and like half of the shit that Tom Hanks has announced, like Major Matt Mason,
and
Buck Rogers.
Yeah.
Some of that Quartermain, right? I think Sam Worthington was going to play Quarter. These are all like ancient properties that guys, in their 50s or 60s may remember from their own childhoods, but it's like, no.
I agree. Wiley Todd says, massive Tom Cruise fan, love Mission Impossible franchise, but I did not like Dead Reckoning Part 1. Awful what they did with Rebecca Ferguson. Story was a mess. Is Final Reckoning better than Part 1? It is for me, but not for Jeff, clearly. So
yeah, there you go.
Mr. Poppy says, sending love to my hung hot micers. Love you, bros. Hello.
Yeah, that should really be added to my Wikipedia page, guys. I was told late last night that I have a Wikipedia page.
Yeah,
and that should really be one of the things on it.
Nice. Rachel Draft Podcast. Is there any chance Coogler's Proximity Media will come around board as a producer, a co-producer in X-Men, given the comic connections between Storm and Wakanda? Oh, that's very possible. Jeff, your thoughts?
Have you ever known Marvel to take on a co-producer, especially its biggest movie that's guaranteed to be a hit?
That's a good point. That's an excellent point, bro.
I mean, it would be. I mean, unless they really want Coogler involved and he wants to be involved somehow, and they're like, all right, why don't you just come in and produce this movie with Kevin, and that way you can say from the guy who did Sinners and Black Panther or whatever. I just don't think they need that. He's just one more big salary they'd have to pay.
That's true. Yikes says, and we're into the Streamlabs now. Yikes says, I've been hyped for Superman, but each trailer has made me less excited. The Crypto CinemaCon preview was really goofy, and Corn Sweat felt pretty stiff in this trailer. I kind of agree. I'm starting to wonder if Superman will have the same issue as Sinners. Both movies had their first drafts immediately go into production. Gunn is running the studio, so there's no executive asking for a second draft or saying, quote, the dailies of this Superman Lois scene feel pretty awkward. I'm still hoping for the best. That's an excellent point, Jeff. Who would be the only person that would stop him is Safran or Zaslav, and I'm sure, or Abdi and DeLuca, but I don't imagine they have the power to make him change something if he wants to keep it a certain way, right?
I think that's why he took this gig in the first place.
We're going to do it my way no matter what. Fig says, what are the chances we see a Running Man trailer before Mission Impossible? Interesting that Predator has released a trailer, also releasing 11/7, and nothing for the Running Man. Is that even done shooting?
What, Running Man?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's in post. The trailer looked great at CinemaCon.
Oh, so the trailer's been out. It just hasn't been out in the public world. Right on. Oh, yeah, maybe before Mission Impossible next week, maybe. Royal says, love the show. What are your thoughts on Taylor Sheridan returning to the big screen or the crime thriller starring Brendan Sklenar reteaming with Warner Brothers after Those Who Wish Me Dead? Do you think the Yellowstone success will boost the audience?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I assume now that he's like this name brand creator, but if you read that story closely, he's not directing the movie.
Right.
He's just producing. So
yeah.
It's hard to say, he's back on the big screen.
And I don't know where we are on the Brendan Sklenar can open a movie train. I mean, I know he's great at 1923, but how many people are actually watching 1923, right? It's not 250 million. So, it's going to be interesting.
Housemaid is probably going to be a hit this Christmas, but I haven't heard the best things.
Oh, gotcha. And it isn't just Yellowstone. I mean, Landman, Lioness, like there's a number of shows that he has that have been successful.
Tulsa King, right?
Yeah. No, I know Yellowstone is the beginning of the success on TV, but there's been other ones. Sting 7654 says, Jeff, have you heard anything about Jordan Peele's next movie? He removed his Instagram post showing the October 2026 release date. Jeff.
Oh, I think it's definitely 2027. Yeah, I definitely think that movie's coming out in 2027.
Okay.
I really haven't heard much other than you really haven't heard much about Kaluuya. I don't know if he's just keeping a schedule for this movie. I do expect him to be involved. There were rumors that Steven Yeun could also be involved. The only rumor that I'll say, which I'm not going to say who it was because it was said it was, they denied it and said it was false. I heard he had a co-writer.
Ooh.
I heard this was the first movie he was going to have someone else writing the script with him.
Wow.
But when I put that name forward, it was denied. So no point in saving the world.
Okay. Chris says, if Daisy is Jean, Daisy Edgar Jones is Jean, then give me Glenn Powell as Cyclops for a Twisters reunion. I mean, Disney has Chad Powers. Yeah, no. I don't think that would happen. Do you think that would happen?
I mean, I'd be surprised if Glenn Powell did Cyclops.
Yeah. I think Glenn wants to lead shit, not be part of the ensemble that he's leading. There's a difference.
Yeah.
Mike Green 74 says Sadie Sink will be in the new X-Men. I'm sorry, but I hate it when you guys talk like everyone knows what's inside baseball BS you're talking about. Jeff saying people's names that no one has heard of. You need a blackboard for this stuff. Am I right? Well, Jeff used to have, first of all, people do know. Just because you don't know, you don't speak for everybody. So do a little more homework.
They would.
Second of all, Jeff has always had a board of stuff, at least from what I remember when I worked with him. He's always got a poster board of stuff that he's writing on, or a erasable board. Jeff, do you have a board in your house?
No, it's behind my bed right now.
Oh, okay.
I don't use it.
Not anymore. It's all here now.
All up here, baby.
Fred Tastic 314 says, showing support for the hot mic. Seeing Kal-El getting grilled by Lois was impressive. She was coming at him like he wasn't supposed to interfere, and his only concern was that he saved lives. Such a strong commentary, refocusing my Superman expectations. All right, Fred. Glad it worked for you. Wayne Edwards says, even though I do,
it's all about expectations. It's like, and that's what every movie I've ever reviewed, it's all about, did this live up to expectations or not? And that's why I was so disappointed in Mission Impossible, because those expectations were so high, and that's their own fault. I mean, it's a great franchise.
Yeah. I'm curious to see what the box office is for that movie. It's 2 hours, and it's almost 3 hours, man.
We'll see.
Wayne Edwards, even though I do believe the new Superman movie may be a bit overstuffed, I really loved the trailer. I like how they started with Lois Lane interviewing Superman, the stakes of being Superman on the table. There you go. Why people liking that opening scene. Christopher Spreezy says, hey guys, now the Zelda movie is a release date. Do you think the casting process has started yet?
I do. I think it has probably started, but I haven't heard anything one way or the other.
Okay.
This is just me speculating, but I mean, people have said who? Owen, the kid from Apes, right?
Right.
I think somebody I just don't know like how old he's supposed to be. Like Mike Feist could be good. Mike Feist or whatever.
Right.
West Side Story. And the other person I'd keep an eye on is the kid who played Gabe LaBelle, who played Spielberg and Lorne Michaels. I think he's a really good little actor. So
right on. Christopher also says, Jeff, do the rumors of Gosling and Starlight are playing a Jedi training his 15-year-old nephew pass the quote smell test?
Yes.
Yeah. I'll use everything. Clark expected Lois of all people to back him on going international to save lives. She went Pulitzer Political Optics Journal instead. She shocked him. Yes, but it's the way he reacted for me, right? I mean, he was abrasive and angry and upset, and I mean, everything.
Defensive.
He was defensive, and everything they say about this Superman is James gets it. This is the Superman we always wanted. Christopher Reeve, who was never abrasive or aggressive or defensive. Like, he was always very open and accepting. So I'm just saying, I don't put those two together in my head.
Defensive doesn't mean abrasive to me.
If you're yelling, standing up, pacing around, to get the dominant position, it, to me, is aggressive or abrasive.
I love it. The guy stands up because he's a little upset, and it's like a psychological tactic to gain physical dominance. Dude, okay.
Not physical, because you're not putting your hands on it, but retain some power in the moment. Luke Starcolor says, hey, John and Jeff, I only found this out the other day. The lead singer of Toto, the guy who did the Africa song, John Williams, is his dad. Is that really? Is that real? I didn't know that.
I had no idea. Every day.
They didn't go into that in the Yacht Rock documentary on HBO. So I don't know if that's his. Is it Joseph Williams? Oh, I guess it is. Yeah. Wow. But it's all of them, isn't it? Because the brothers, they were all brothers. Mark Towner Williams. Yeah, they were all brothers in Toto. Interesting. Or some of them were the brothers in Toto. All right, there you go. Oh, good facts to end the day. Thank you, everybody. Jeff, any more you want to say before we wrap up here? Plug what you got going on.
Newsletters dropping in the next 30 minutes, I would say, and it's got an interesting scoop.
Okay.
It's got an interesting scoop. Yeah, and then I've got a couple of good ones tomorrow. A big one, I think, tomorrow night.
Yeah.
That is timed to something coming up this weekend.
Ooh.
And yeah, working on some cool casting stuff for next week. So lots happening with the newsletter. Getting my Emmy predictions and stuff now that voting is closing soon as well.
Yeah.
And I'm just watching a ton of stuff. Did you watch Tom Segura's new Netflix show?
I read your review and they made me watch it. Made me want to watch it even less.
I thought it looked good, and then my brother called me. He's like, "This is some garbage," and I watched it. I watched the whole thing in one night. It did. I mean, it wasn't very good, but he saved the best for last. You know, he saved some of the best for the last two episodes. I also watched Love, Death, and Robots. Are you going to watch that?
Yeah, I am. Did you like it?
Not particularly. There were one or two, or maybe three of the 8 were good, but yeah, some of them I didn't like. Like, why do I need? Like, why is Red Hot Chili Peppers singing a song? Like, one of the entries here. Why? It seems so stupid.
So stupid. I don't know, my man.
Anyways, theinsider.com. Thank you for subscribing, guys. I appreciate it. And follow me on Twitter. Blah, 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 blah.
There you go. One last one from Eric Rivera. Guys, what does DC look like if Superman bombs?
Looks like a bomb landed on it. The whole thing is just in shambles. Yeah. I don't know
I was just going to say that. I was just going to say it looks like it's a bomb. It would be a bomb. All right, there you go. As for me, you can follow me at The Roca Says on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, and Threads. Look for our review on the Jedi Way of the last 3 episodes of Andor, the finale of Andor, there tomorrow. And then Saturday, we will be recording our Geek Buddies stuff to be up on Sunday. So look for that coming up this weekend as well. I'll probably do a longer review on the Saturday as well for Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning without Jeff, and give my points of views there on it all. But also Final Destination is out this weekend, so I'll probably do a review of that as well. So look for that here on the channel. Subscribe, hit that bell button, leave your comments, subscribe to our podcast, and we'll talk to you next time with another brand new episode here of The Hot Mic on the Outlaw Nation channel. Peace. Until then.